Good afternoon.
Hey, how y'all doing? Man, it's such a pleasure to be on with you. Thank you.
It's pleasure, such a pleasure for me.
Oh, it's much love and respect.
But I see you played until the last 5 minutes, huh?
I need to do some more playing.
I should practice more. You can rest. You have done enough in your life.
Man, I need some lessons. I need some lessons, man.
Oh, lessons. But
I do.
Our old teachers are all gone now.
Oh my God.
Håkan.
We the old guys.
Hey.
We're having some trouble here.
Yo, man,
Oh, hello.
I've been listening to you play those Charliers, man.
I need to find more sound here. My wife has to help me. I can't hear you.
You finished the 36 exercise, huh?
Wait, don't talk all at the same time. I can't hear.
Hello, Heidi.
Hello. I'm just helping out here.
Yeah, great.
Do you have no sound? Is that okay?
Say something.
Hello,
okay.
Hello.
Yeah, now it's
Okay.
Hello, Håkan.
Yeah, man, we've been listening to you. You're playing great.
Well, we have to do something to keep busy.
Yeah, every time I hear you, I look at my horn and I put it down. I got my Charlier out. I play one of them. I say no.
I mean, we all have these funny lips. Where does that come from?
Yes, that would be a very interesting question.
Oh, man.
Håkan, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I hear you less well than the others.
Oh, really? Okay. I can put
and you can hear us good?
Yeah, you're a little bit fuzzy, but that's normal.
But I have not started to drink. I will do after.
Is it foggy there?
So,
he got his light. He's facing the light.
I live in the countryside. It's always.
my friend,
Okay.
please, my friend, I would like just to ask you before we let in all the people, do you have some request or are you okay and we can start soon?
It's the usual. It's the usual rider with champagne and all that stuff. You know that.
I'm happy.
I have here.
And yeah, that's it. So I will do an introduction,
Okay.
and then after my introduction, we will start with the one-to-one questions. Reinhold will start to ask a question to Wynton, and then Wynton to Håkan, and so on. Okay?
Yeah, but it's not so completely short. I can find some words, huh?
Oh, of course. You take your time. Theoretically, we have to. I said we will finish at after 1 hour and 30 minutes. But if it's very captivating and exciting, why not? We can do a bit longer. So we'll see.
Super.
But Håkan has to eat. But okay.
Yeah, I have to practice my Charlier. Yeah.
Okay. It's not live yet.
I could never do that.
We are ready to start our historic meeting. I would like to welcome everyone on Zoom, all participants, and also hi to everyone on Facebook Live, to every follower. My name is Olivier Anthony Theurillat. I am here in Bern, capital of Switzerland, to welcome you for this unique meeting. This meeting will be also recorded because we want to keep it as for archives later and for a later post on YouTube. I am very grateful to Reinhold Friedrich, Håkan Hardenberger, and Wynton Marsalis to have accepted to participate to this Zoom conference in a very friendly and social spirit. They have accepted to do it also to support my crowdfunding campaign, Music Beyond the Walls, which wants to support freelance musicians in need during this very hard period of crisis. So I'm very thankful and grateful that you have accepted to relate this event to this fundraising. On the social medias, on Zoom and on the chat and on the comments on Facebook, you will see the different links. And if you want to donate, please feel free. And I already thank you. A lot of people who have donated, and a lot of participants have done that. And thank you very much for your support. And I hope we can go forward to have more, to help more. Now, I would like to introduce the three, let's say, legends of the trumpet. In my life, I never thought I would have the chance and the privilege to see them united like today or tonight. And I call them the big three just because I'm a big tennis fan, and we call Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic the big three. So for me, they were a kind of my big three in the trumpet. I don't know who is RF, but RF tonight, it's not Roger Federer, but for sure, this is Reinhold Friedrich. I let Håkan and Wynton choose which tennis player they want to be. Now, I would like to start this meeting with the possibility to each one to ask a question to the other great trumpet player. You all have a great, amazing, absolutely fantastic career. I know this is not finished and you have still energy and a lot of projects for the future, but you were probably checking what the other ones were doing. And I'm very curious to see now which kind of question you can ask to each other. So please, if you want to start, Reinhold, you are welcome to start this meeting, please.
So, okay. Hello, entire trumpet fanatic world. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm also extremely happy to be in the group of the big three. I think I'm the only big three because of my body weight. That body weight, I will be the best of all of three. When you will not believe how early I was hearing about you. I was a trumpet player in the World Youth Symphony Orchestra in Interlaken with 17 years. And then there was the talk about, there is a young trumpet player. He's already playing the Brandenburg. And I thought, what? He's already playing my piece? And I was shocked in a way, but that helped me to go on with the practicing. And later we met us once in Chicago when I was buying a trumpet by David Monet, and then you gave a little recital with a quintet, and I asked a question, but my answer was the wrong one. You asked what is really difficult with trumpet playing, and then the question went around, and I said, yeah, what is really difficult and you have to practice is intervals. And you said, oh, fuck up, no, that is not difficult. So, okay. What I want first to say, I really want to express my deep regret for your father's death, which is just a short time, not 2 months away, and it has to do with this crisis, as we know. And I'm very, very, I want to express my condolation for the death of your father, Alice. You are born in an extremely musical family I think before you have been on the earth, the music was already filled up in your head. Mine also, but totally different. Mine started with Bach and it ended with Johann Sebastian Bach. So I was on a small track, you have been on the big track. This morning I would have had my premiere in the Elbphilharmonie in Hamburg with the Hamburg State Opera Orchestra, and I would have played for me, the biggest trumpet composed trumpet concerto in the history. That would have been the band Alois Zimmermann. Nobody knows the trouble I see.
Right.
The trouble I see, and in the moment I see a lot of trouble.
Right.
I see not only in Minnesota, I see it in a lot of places, and it's hard to see that. And my question to you is, when can I buy the flight ticket? And with me, a lot of hundreds of followers, and we fly from Frankfurt to New York to hear you with this concert in the big hall in Carnegie. That would be my question. Do you think it would be possible?
First, I want to say thank you very much for your kind and thoughtful words. I want to say how proud and happy I am to be with you and to be with Håkan. And that, it's been many years, too, of me admiring your playing and knowing you and having respect. And it's deeper than a pleasure to be on. It makes me feel young. It's interesting. You reference, being 17 or 18. I know we're supposed to be the kind of older guys at this point, but when I see y'all here, and this one thing, I feel like a kid. Because you sacrifice so much for our instrument across these many decades. Håkan, he knows. We were laughing before we got on about listening to him play the Charlier Etudes. I was saying he made me pick my horn up and look at my book, but then I put it down. And I think that we don't know when everything will be open. In New York City, the halls will open in what's called the 4th phase. So I'm thinking everything is going to close down until January.
Yeah.
But I think that we have the opportunity to get together in this forum, and we never have or would have probably done this. So I thank the Lord for that. And I just want to say one last thing and talk about our mutual tradition that we come from, because I know I first heard of Baroque music, Adolf Scherbaum's recordings, old recordings of Scherbaum playing. I would go to the college. I was 14, 13, and we haven't talked about it, but I know you checked him out. And I was like, man, what is this? And then with Edward Tarr and that whole tradition in the early 70s, that was just getting kind of off the ground. Of course, Maurice Andre goes without saying, the hero of all of us. But when I see you and we talk about it, I just want to acknowledge our mutual tradition and say thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing y'all when we do open these halls up.
Yeah, we do. We will do. What you also don't know, Wynton, I did a 2 hours long emission in the German radio, Deutschland Radio, and I had to figure out which is the best recording of all Haydn concertos. And I had to, I got always two examples, and then I had to figure out who is playing. So that was really interesting. Finally, after 2 hours, there was a number one on the platform. That was you. I didn't know, and I listened to you, and I thought, wow, that is really fantastic. And of course, I knew the recording, but to hear them 30, one after the other, Adolf Höfs, Scherbaum, Güttler, Maurice Andre, etc., etc. Of course, Håkan, me, and Matthias Höfs and others. And number one, finally, was your recording.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I'm emotional. You're gonna make me get full, but we all dealing with the same thing. I appreciate it. I'm glad I wasn't last.
But I only want to express my deep respect for what you have done in the last couple of years. That is unbelievable.
Thank you, and that respect is more than mutual. And just a beautiful thing is, I know the humanity that we're going to express on this call today is good for our colleagues to see it, because none of it is fake. Yeah. And that's a secret to why your playing is so spectacular, and why it has the depth of feeling that distinguishes itself far above the technical achievements, which are substantial.
So back to the question, when is coming, do you think it would be possible once to listen to you with this fantastic piece?
I don't know, man. Håkan, he doesn't let me play. He told me he don't want to hear me playing classical music no more.
Okay. But I buy the flight ticket. I buy already.
All right, thank you.
Great.
Open date. Okay.
Cool. Wynton, what would be the question you always wanted to ask to Håkan?
Well, we've known each other. I've heard about him for so long. You know, in the early '80s, when I would be making records with the English Chamber Orchestra, they would also be recording with Håkan. So I heard about him very early. I always loved and respected him through many, many years. We haven't been in each other's presence a lot. He came to a gig we did in Sao Paulo, and I look at things that he's doing. We're joking about the Charlier, and I guess the thing I want to ask him is that at our age now, we're people of a certain age and understanding, after so many concerts and years of dedication to playing, what does he find when he looks into his fundamental concept of playing? What has come to the forefront, and what does he consider to be the most important thing about playing our instrument in this time?
Hello, everyone. It's such an honor to be in this company, I must say. And I think that the words honor and respect will be the words we will use all evening. I mean, I met Reinhold first time in the Munich competition. He then looked like some character out of a Wagner opera with long hair. And I remember I used to call him Reingold. And his sound was like gold. And Wynton, I don't think we spoke at that time, but I heard you first time when I was a student in Paris, and you came and played with Art Blakey, and Thibaut, my beloved Thibaut teacher, said we have to go listen to this he's unbelievable, and unbelievable you truly were, and it's really great to be here with all of you. And you said something about feeling like a kid. You know, I have this thing. There's a Swedish philosopher, and she talks about life as a tree. You see one behind me, but not only growing this way. You know, we all know about the rings. And if we allow ourselves to be, we are also the inner ring at the same time as we are the outer ring. So when I see you, I feel very connected to those inner rings of the tree. And also from me, of course, deepest felt condolences for your dad. You know.
Thank you.
Well, the trumpet, you know, I'm sure you will all say the same. It's part of us now. There's not so much we can, you know.
Right.
I feel I get up in the morning and I brush my teeth and I play the trumpet. I mean, the things that has to happen, and I think what I end up doing every morning is again feeling like a child. Actually, that inner ring from the 8-year-old child comes back every morning, and I work a lot on the centering of the sound, and I have to do that every morning to really find the middle of the sound, which is something I can then expand from and find the resonance in my body and in the horn, and then ultimately in the hall I play. But if I don't have the center to work with, then there's nothing. So that would be the one fundamental. That's the most.
So, I want to just ask you a question to go deeper into that. Like, can you tell when you're actually in the center of your sound? Is your posture related to the center of your sound? And do you think the sound starts with the breath, or does it start with the initial attack?
I think it's a matter of balance. I think if your posture and your body is not tensed, and then it's a balance between the two things we have. We have the breath and we have the vibration of the lips, and too much of one of them in this balance is not good. They need both to be. I start always with these very simple bending notes, very soft and everything, but that's me. You know, I think everyone will have a different way of finding center and balance, but that's how I do it. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you about, do you have anything in your mind before when you go to hit your initial notes? Are you thinking about something? I want to hit this note like this. Are you only singing the note? Are you thinking? Do you have anything?
Singing the note, singing and feeling the note, and then once you capture it, to make it live in the body, in the cavities, it's of course it starts with something here. I mean, these are I mean, they're more important than the lips, ultimately. And if it doesn't start with the ears or an idea, then we can use the lips or the lungs as much as we like. Nothing will happen.
So can we go out of order and can I just ask Reinhold just something? Because I really I want us to get to a thing about this kind of initial attack, initial playing. You know how the scientists always trying to get back to the original particle. They call it the God particle.
Yeah.
So could just about before the initial attack. How are you?
For me, it's about coming to this point zero, to be ready for playing. Means if I'm empty, the sound starts already with the breathing. I feel with the breathing and with this being totally empty and inviting each note, and of course then also this hearing the note before you play it, that is very important. But it's the breathing and the playing is not two acts, it's one act.
Right.
Yeah. So
if I may quote our beloved Thibaut, you know, he was trained on the violin as a kid.
Yeah.
And he always used to say, you know, as a violin, there is 5,000 ways to play one note. On the trumpet, on the trumpet we have two. We get it or we miss it. and then he said, if you can have 10 different ways to start, you know, then you have a language.
So I want to conclude what I'm asking you for this time, and I want to ask about after you hit a note. You know, we have, you know, you're working with them. So I mean, just in the warm up, you're starting off and your initial attack, it comes in. Maybe it's not exactly how you heard, but you start to ease into it. Do you find that as you relax, your pitch falls, or do you find that you start low and you get higher? What do you do as you go through, let's say, an initial kind of long tone warm up? Are there adjustments you're thinking about making? You trying to relax your shoulders? Well, have different tensions and stuff. With me, my shoulders always come up. So I'm always kind of asking myself to sit down, and I'm asking myself to try to find the biggest sound at the softest volume. So do you have a thing that you're trying to do in the inside of that sound to manipulate it, to make it be the way you want it to be?
I mean, that's a huge question, because I mean, that's all related to what environment that special note is living in, what you hear from the band or the orchestra, and then to be open enough so that your body can react to what you hear, and it's about openness, I guess. I mean, there was another interesting thing that Thibaut always used to say. He used to say, play towards the back. And, you know, it means nothing in effect. But then there was some guy in Paris whose brother was an X-ray doctor, and he said, he filmed him in the machine, and he said, now think towards the back. And they could actually see cavities opening just by thinking, you know, things that we can't control, much as we can't really control the diaphragm. So I think, I mean, your question is so big, because one thing is what goes on during the day and how we treat our, I mean, we all have our reoccurring things that will create problems, or will so those are, we try to watch, you know, but then there's the possibilities of finding different colors, and those, I think there are tools. I think there are tools for everything. If you have if you have 10 attacks, or if you have 10 ways of starting, then the rest is maybe reaction, and letting the body react to what you hear and what you want to do. I don't know if that answers your question, but the question was very, very big.
Yeah, right. No, I understand.
Great, thank you. Håkan, what would you like to ask to Reinhold?
Reinhold, it's so lovely. It's so lovely to see you. First of all, I must say, I still look very often in that book that you gave me about, you know, the pictures of Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I think, oh my God, what are we doing to this planet? But I was thinking of, it's also quite a big question because, and it relates to how we met in a competition, how I heard Wynton in Paris and we were kids, and we grew up, I think we grew up in the best times. I mean, we could hear Miles and Chet, we could hear Doc Schitzer and Maurice André, and but we had to go and hear them if we wanted to hear them live. We could get records and buy records, but if we wanted to really hear them, we had to do like Bach did when he wanted to hear Buxtehude. He walked halfway through Germany to hear him. And I think that sort of curiosity today can, of course, in a way be cured just by one simple click. Well, for the young ones, it's simple. For me, I could hardly get onto this chat.
We saw that today,
You can see it, just to see.
But do you think it makes it, does it make it harder or easier for the younger people? How to collect what will give them the ideas? You know, how do you think they collect that? Or do you think, could you elaborate on it? I guess.
Yeah, I try to understand what you mean. It's it's a process. You can never replace to go to a concert and to listen the real thing. But as trumpet players, I think we have a lot to listen to. We have to find our ideals in the trumpet world, but perhaps even more in other worlds. For me, I in my practice room, I have on one wall I have Claudio as one of my ideals, and on the others is Andras Schiff, the piano player, and Fritz Wunderlich. And this, to listen to them, to build up a idea what music means. When I get together with Andras Schiff, how he plays the piano, it sounds so amazing. It's a completely different instrument. So this sort of finding sounds and listen to music, and also finally then to find the process for an interpretation, to give old pieces new life. What we always do, we are not always playing creations like you. I for example, I play a lot of times this old chip, and also Wynton plays a lot of times the traditional things and gives new life and for them, and that is the most fascinating process, I think, what we have. And young people have to build that up, and they have to listen. They have to listen. They have to listen. That is what I tell my students, and that is what I tell myself. I don't stop with this process. I look, when I remember the last period when Claudio was conducting the 9th Symphony of Bruckner. Suddenly he stopped. He opened his little score. He had the score from Toscanini. It was Eulenburg, a very small thing. And he opened it, and he was completely upset. He said, "Did you see that? He is an accent. He is an accent. I have never seen this accent. Second flute, can you play this accent? I have never heard that. I have never seen." So in the last moment of his live appearance on stage, he was so like a child. He was so open, and then this moment is in my heart very, very deep. That you have the responsibility, as you said, when you start in the morning, you have to be a child, and you have to find everything new. If you don't do this process, you are lost.
So you start in the morning as a child, and then there was a beautiful. They asked Casals when he was 94, why are you still practicing 6 hours a day, Mr. Casals? And he says, oh, you know, I think I'm still making progress. So I guess what I wanted to elaborate on is this fact that it is. What we do is a really, really slow thing, and even you know, one lifetime is not enough. We take it from somewhere and we bring it as far as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That and when these people, Casals and Wynton and you and Claudio, do this their whole life, then little Reinhold in little Köln, in the little village, has to follow the spirit.
Stop this.
Yes.
Are you fishing? Are you fishing?
Right.
Yeah, we have just in front of the house, we have a little river, so I go there sometimes.
Reinhold,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt now, but maybe what would be your question for Håkan then?
Yeah, I mean, my question for Håkan.
Something captivating.
That was not so easy to find the question, because Håkan, you have done nearly everything what is possible. You have created tons of concerts. You have played everywhere. You have played with all orchestras. You have reached all highest mountains. There's the Mount Everest. For you is only a sidewalk on trumpet. I have really a question for you, which was a question I asked myself also. What is still a dream for you? What is still a dream which you keep in your mind to go on to make next?
Well, at the moment is that I don't completely mess up Charlier number 7. and
This is typical Håkan.
You know, I don't count. I don't think any of us counts in. You know, we don't count it like some show, animal trophy that we have. Like hunters. That's not how it works. You know, we try to be the inner ring and the outer ring and to play. And I guess I'm also. You search for the. I mean, I don't compose. I don't invent in the moment as Wynton does, and I love listening to jazz players doing that. I search for the masterpiece, you know, and as you very rightly said, you know, when Ed introduced us to there's this piece by Bernd Alles Zimmermann that was,
and he put it on the music stand.
Yes, I mean that saved our two artistic lives for quite a while, and then I've tried with others and to build this, and so. Yeah. So that it will be something for great conductors and great orchestras to be interested in, and that I will have a story to tell also, because that's what we need. We need something where we can fill the clothes of an actor and be the part and do what is our trade. And so I guess I will just continue doing that like some sort of long distance runner until I stumble and
Can I ask you something?
Maybe Murakami, the writer, he says, you know, that I guess, you know, next year I will have written another novel and run another marathon, and maybe I look in the future and I put one foot ahead, and then maybe one day I will achieve something that's anything like what I would like to do. I couldn't agree more. We continue like long distance runners. But
you started with conducting.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it very much. But it's, you know, it's nothing. You know, if 2 lifetimes is needed for a trumpet, I'm sure it's the same for conducting. And it's That's more like my pension fund, you know, when the teeth fall out.
Okay, because I saw that you start, and then I thought, okay, when he starts, I have to do it also. So I have next year I have my premiere also.
Great.
What do you conduct?
I will conduct the first symphony of Schubert, because it's a very unknown piece, and so the people will not kill me in the first moment. Then I play the Hummel trumpet concerto, and after the pause, I will conduct the Fire. Is called the Haydn Symphony. Fire. It's a very wild Haydn symphony, and I think it's a beautiful program with a bit unknown pieces. And when you start to do something, it's better if you take yourself a little bit to the side of the criticisms. Pistol shot.
You have your hands full.
Yeah.
Before we go to the last question, oh, sorry, Wynton, you want to say something?
No, go ahead. I'm just co-signing.
Before we go to the last question between Håkan and Wynton, if you want to prepare you for the next chapter, Reinhold and Enrico, feel free. Between Håkan and Wynton, Håkan, what is your secret question about Wynton?
I actually have two. Is that okay?
Oh yes, please.
Well, one is a gossip one, because there is this myth. There's a myth that Bernstein was about to write a trumpet concerto, and is there any truth in that?
No, I don't. I didn't discuss it with him.
Okay.
But I didn't discuss. But I mean, I loved him, and I talked with him. He was always full of advice and insight, and he was always extremely friendly and supportive. When I told him I was trying to teach concerts for young children, I looked at his concerts and everything, and we talked about harmony. And I said, I read the lesson you wrote on harmony, Maestro. He said, man, harmony is the most difficult thing in the world to figure out. He said, because it's horizontal and it's vertical, it's positional, things change. He said, it's exactly like a room full of people. He said, and it's almost impossible to figure out, is there a rule or a way for a bunch of people to interact? He said, I did the best I could, but when you figure that one out, I probably won't be here. So,
Yeah. And then question 1B, this is not second question, question 1B is will you write a trumpet concerto one day?
I'm supposed to be writing one for Mike in Cleveland. You know Mike Sachs.
Yeah.
I love Mike. It's another example where I heard about him when I was 14 or 15.
And
wow.
He's also 1961, right? Isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's 61. I thought he was younger than me, but I don't know. I don't know. But I definitely want to do it, and I want to work on it. But I mean, my love for our instrument is so deep. I just don't want to write something that when you hear it, you think, damn, it took a trumpet player to do that. But I'm gonna write something. I'm sure I'm gonna write something for Mike.
That's great. Great. Now question number 2, and this one is bigger because it's about Reinhold's question about the Zimmermann. It's about when I premiered the Henze Requiem, which was around the first Iraq War, and Henze wrote this Requiem, a humanistic Requiem. It was the times of the AIDS era, and there was a plague almost like we have now, and there was a journalist who asked Henze, so Mr. Henze, do you think that your music can make the world better? And Henze looked very sad, and he said, oh, well, I'm not Florence Nightingale. He kind of, so I think he because the reason for him to write it must have been that he thought he had these ideas. And then he, of course, realized that he couldn't. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Wynton? Can music, can we as musicians do something in this unbelievably terrible world we have at the moment?
First, I think affirmatively, yes. We're doing something right now.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is not less than something that you could tell somebody and they would say, "That's wow, you did something." Because the world is a large place, and there are a lot of different people and agendas and problems and issues and solutions and beautiful, terrible, tragic, and we all have lives that have all of those things in them. And by the time you get to our ages, we've been through a lot. We feel like children, but we're not children.
Mm.
You know, we're at the age where hopes and dreams and things we thought will work out, many of them did not work out. Mm. So the way that we keep our optimism and our positivity and that we're not fake. Now in America, of course, I'm called upon. Right now, I'm in the middle of a whole thing about what statement I'm going to make about the policeman killing George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and Black people and white people. And, you know, I grew up in the 60s in America in segregation. I grew up in the South in small towns and dealt with a lot of prejudice and ignorance. And it's not just white and Black. When I travel around the world, the first thing I noticed, I'll tell you my first experience was I was in Poland in 1980 for Jazz Jamboree. And I met with some other younger people my age. And I was under the impression at that time that Eastern Europe and everything that was said about it was not true. I'm from America, I'm Black. People messing over us all the time. Everything you read is a lie. This too is a lie. Mm. Man, I'm talking to them and there's nobody on the street at night. And they say, man, we can't get caught out here on the street. And it was just a reality that I had about human beings and how they live on earth. Your frame of reference is often not enough for you to understand something like the world. So I believe everything we do matters. I believe that I'm engaged with it every day. You know, and it's not a topical issue. It's not because of the disease and the kind of tribalism and ignorance and homelessness and injustice and things that are part of the legacy of the earth that we're always working to get toward a deeper humanity. It requires all of us to celebrate the greatest achievements of all of us and not to segregate those achievements to fit into a constituency because that constituency has juice or because their point of view is popular at a certain time. So I think also for us, the three of us at our age, we're too old to be chasing behind trends. You know, we have the thing we believe in, our humanity and what we've said down through the years. There's a track record of what we believe and the type of love and respect we address each other with is the way we would talk to students with, is the way we will talk about issues in a thoughtful way when we're called upon to speak on them. And we've already done a lot of that and we will continue to do it. So our music and music itself definitely changes the world. And music is not a topical issue. You know, it's not topical. It's a thing that the music of, you take your pick, you know, depending on what culture's music you understand. And I'll go back to what Reinhold was saying about not just trumpet, but all kinds of music, all arts. It could be Paco de Lucia and flamenco music, or it could be Osvaldo Pugliese in tango, or it could be the travail of Shostakovich in Russian music, or it could be, it does not matter what culture you want to find. You will find people who have been warriors for our larger human heritage. And I know we're all in agreement with that just by how natural our relationship is with each other. So, you know, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Wynton. Thank you, Håkan. I think we will go now to another interesting part with
But Olivier,
yes.
Wynton, question to me.
Yes.
Yes. I thought you did it before, but
Okay.
No, don't worry, man. We didn't come on, man. You're not gonna do this to us, Olivier. We on there. We want to vibe with each other, man. We don't stick to a form. We're older than you. Respect your elders, son.
Yes.
You know, I'm Swiss, you know.
Okay. I accept.
Really? Okay.
Tell me.
Yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Tell me.
No.
You don't mind. We're playing around.
Yes, Reinhold. Another question.
No.
I should have gave you an F in your class.
Me missing.
Wynton, Probably you have another question for Reinhold.
He was getting ready to ask me something.
You want
I
to
do
get
have
something.
a question for him. But if you wanted to ask me a question, I'll answer it. I'll be brief, I promise. And then I'll ask the question I have for Reinhold.
Okay. I'm happy with in the moment with questions. Okay.
So Wynton, your question to Reinhold.
Well, it has to do with Olivier is showing us right now with young people not really having manners. I want to know. I want to know what I would like to know what it is. And I know we all teach, and there's a lot of things to teach, but everything you teach comes out of one thing. So what is the fundamental key to your teaching, your pedagogy, like the way? What is the fundamental thing you want a student to know when they leave your tutelage, or even after? Like Olivier is still in my tutelage. I'm not ever letting him go. I'm gonna be 100, and I'm gonna still be talking to him like he's 20. So what is it that
I have made last year a meeting. I rented a whole castle in France, and I invited all my 160 students I have had in my life in the castle, and we had 1 week. We had 1 week together, and we discussed and played and had party from morning to night. And then I thought about that. What is happening when you choose somebody that he will be your student? And a lot of times after an audition, I went to a guy and I told him, look, you play very nice. I don't need you. You don't need me. Go ahead. You will find your teacher, but it's not me. And then I see a young boy or a young girl who is touching me. And then I say, this is the person I will give lessons. It needs this initiation. I need this moment that I get somehow interested in this person, because then a lifelong process starts. We exchange our ideas, we exchange our whole family problems, tragedies, whatever, and it goes very, very deep. And the only reason I have the most crazy trumpet class. It's a lot of chaotic people, and very all are totally different. I don't search the same student.
Be careful. I mean, be careful. I think they might be listening.
But they know it. They are totally crazy, and that is what I try to collect. I try to find people who touch me in my heart, because the whole process, what happens after, is love. I mean, that is, even if they have not practiced. Then it's still love what you have to give, and sometimes you make love in combination with something else, but love is the motor for the whole thing, to get in contact, to think about their little next step, what they have to do to find they find their inner center. I always, what I tried to express in this way, I think I try to see the inner diamond of somebody, and then we work on the facade. Then we work that he's really shining, and that his form is really related to the person. That because everybody is different, and nobody does the same career as somebody else. Everybody has his own long life way.
Beautiful.
I love that. I'm writing it down. You see me reaching, I just want to write it down. I love it. You see the inner diamond and you work on the facets. As you polish it up, I love it.
Yeah.
What you saying about that, Håkan?
I think I can only agree. It's beautiful words.
Yeah.
Reinhold, would you like to go to I think you expressed a deep wish to pay tribute to someone tonight as well. For us.
Yeah.
Give some words.
The photo. I have. I am still involved in like you, Wynton, with with the loss of your father, and I'm involved in the loss of this man, this who comes from the States and who gave me and Håkan so much. And this man, when you listen to his recordings, and he's playing the trumpet completely different than a lot of other trumpet players. He doesn't search the heroic part of the trumpet so much. He's somehow he was a very warm-hearted and soft person, and his interpretation of the Hummel concerto in his early 60s for me still is the best recording in the world. And what he did with all his work, with all his lifelong work, is amazing. And but he touched the very important point for me, that is, why is the trumpet, especially in the time of Gustav Mahler, transferring the yearning, the nostalgia, a totally different new habit of character, and that is what comes from this old story, that trumpeter von Säckingen, this fairy tale which has really truth elements. In near Basel in Switzerland, there's this castle, and this trumpet player who falls in love with the princess, and he has to leave. And that's not only a fairy tale, it has really historic basic. And from this piece, Gustav Mahler was so much impressed that he composed his opus number 0, which was called Der Trompeter von Säckingen. That was Gustav Mahler's first piece. And then he destroyed it, and the only piece which survived was the Blue Mine, this movement of the first symphony, which sometimes is in the concert, or most of the time they played without. But this Blue Mine is the survivor of this Trompeter von Säckingen from Gustav Mahler. And I think this big gift that Gustav Mahler gave the trumpet to have a new expression is leading my playing, is leading all generations after, included Enesco and all these people who did their compositions after. Oskar Böhme, a bit the same with this ideal of the Mendelssohn Bartholdy violin concerto in E minor. He composed also his E minor concerto. So these people changed the big possibilities of the trumpet, which was before a stupid soldier instrument to win the war, with some exceptions of Baroque high points, but that is not the most important literature. But with this, we found to a new standard, and that's why I want to play this piece for you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, that was good accompaniment too.
My wife, yeah.
That was beautiful. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And this music inspired Mahler for Blumine, for the post-sound solo, for Fifth Mahler solos, for all solos, and this changed our trumpet life somehow. And it comes also the research, and the Trumpet Museum is Edward H. Tarr's thing, and he got half his page in the New York Times after he was passed away, and I think he worked hard for this his whole life.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this time.
Thank you for that beautiful playing.
Yeah.
But you see that's what we're talking about, like just the kind of heart and soul that you're playing. That just is, you know. So I mean, it lifted us.
I was pretty nervous. Can you believe? I was really nervous.
You're not nervous for us. You're not nervous for us. We have the age. We're in the age of understanding.
Thank you, Reinhold. Thank you, Enrico. That was really moving.
Yeah.
And yes, we are a lot online. We are more than 200 on Zoom and around 600 on Facebook. So that's amazing, and it's nice to see you all here. And we are representing 40 different countries on Zoom.
Wow!
And all 5 continents are represented as well. So that makes me very happy, and it's a good sign that everyone is there. Fantastic.
Great.
Of course, a lot of trumpet players from the entire world have shown interest in your unique historical meeting, and of course some of them are kind of well known, and I asked them if they wanted to say maybe a little hello, and they say of course yes, with pleasure. So please welcome now Matthias. Matthias, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, Matthias.
What's going on, Matthias?
Hi, Matthias.
So fantastic to see you, and Reinhold, thank you for your playing. It's fantastic in this time to come together, and it's a great pleasure for me to involve in this, and to hear and you speaking. Like the time I was very young, I hear your CDs and your recording, and thank you for your music, and you are a great point for all musicians and trumpet players all over the world, an inspiration for all this. Thank you, and hello from Hamburg.
Thank you, Matthias. Thank you. Would you like to say something to Matthias, or do you have a question for Matthias?
Is he? Are you trying to make us feel old, Matthias?
He's not talking about just your playing.
You are so young, so fantastic, and your music.
There's something wrong with the light in your. We can't see any gray hairs on you.
Yeah, that's unfair. Unfair.
Yeah, it's
unfair.
a good light in my room. It's okay.
Thank you, Matthias, for this sign. It was great.
Thank you.
And let's go to the second very special attendee, Alison.
Wow.
What's up, Alison?
Hello.
Hello, Alison.
Thank you so much for organising this. It's such an important thing to do, and musicians in this time are so vital to the world. Not only with the notes that we play and the amazing music that we get to play, but also with the things that are said. Talking about love like this, Reinhold, was incredibly important. The things that you've said, Wynton, today, and these are things that I will personally remember for many years. Probably for the rest of my life. And I also remember when I had some lessons with you, Håkan. It's great to see you again.
Really good to see you, Alison. Very nice to see you.
There were things that both as a musician and as a person I kept close to me, and I will remember forever. And when I talk to students myself and just people, not necessarily trumpet players, they're words of wisdom that I feel that I can pass on from you to the next generation. And I think that just is, is the example of what it is that we're talking today, and which is wonderful that this is happening. But it's creating this positivity and this positive energy through music. And all three of you have been huge inspirations for me throughout my life, and so that's why this is so great this is happening. So thank you so much for doing this. It's very generous of the three of you.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah,
It's
thank
great
you.
to see you. It's fantastic to see you.
I think Wynton, me and you are supposed to have an event tonight, so this is the
Okay, I look forward to it. You know, come on, always.
Thank you, Alison, for joining us. It was great.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
also
Thanks.
Alison, thank you for what you do, especially as a woman, for fighting that the women have the right same place like these fat three guys. No, Håkan is not so fat, but me. And you are such an ideal for hundreds, thousands of young girls who get the courage because of your career. And I see that, I hear that in the Royal Academy. I see that everywhere. You gave them very, very much help, and thanks for this.
Thank you for saying so. I think we're all aiming for the same thing. We're all trying to say something important with music, try to be, whether we're female or male, whatever our background, we're trying to be good, not just trumpet players, but good musicians, good artists, and have something important to say and share with the world. So
yeah, but the women sometimes have harder work to get this place. I see that, and still there is a lot of chauvinism in the trumpet world, and I hope we can step by step throw this on the trash. Yeah, and that is, and you help to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your recordings. I've listened to them more than you probably have, so much.
I'd never listen to my recordings. It's useless time to listen to his own recordings, but made for others. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alison. Now let's go to our third surprise, Sergei.
Hello. Hello,
Sergei.
you. I just would like to briefly say hello to all of you. It's amazing to see all of you here, and thank you so much for inspiration all these years. I wish you, most importantly, great health and to stay safe during these times. And I wish one day we could meet each other properly.
Yes, we have to stop. We have to stop meeting like this. I've only met you like this.
It's true. So just thank you. And I had one question for Wynton, but it's almost the same that Håkan asked about composition. I wanted to ask Wynton if there was any plan to write anything for trumpet and piano.
No, but you know, I mean, I just work on stuff to work on it. So if you want me to write something for you, I'll write it. You just gotta, we just communicate. And it's great to talk with you. I just seeing you always reminds me of the great trumpet player, Lou Soloff. He passed away.
He was a great friend.
The first time I heard your recording of you playing was through Lou. And Lou called me and he was like, man, you have to hear this kid from Russia. You're like a teenager. Yeah, we put on your recording. We were both up in there listening to it, going crazy. Just about, you know, the quality of your playing and the depth of it. And Louis passed away now, but just down through all these years, man, whenever I've seen you, of course, that's many, many years ago. I always connect you in the beauty of your playing with Lou's love of trumpet playing, his love of you and your playing. And of course, I've seen you and respect you, but it's good to see you up here. And we just rap about it. And yeah, I work on something. You tell me how you want it to be and we'll do it.
I'd be honored. So,
all right.
Thank you. And stay safe, all of you.
Yes, sir. Deep honor. Deep
respect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergei. Thank you. It was a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining. And now we will go to questions from the audience. And I'm happy to call Jeffrey Wolbach in USA. Can you hear me, Jeffrey?
Yes, sir.
Please,
hi.
Your question.
Hello.
And maybe where do you come from?
Okay, my name is Jeff Wolbach. I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania in the United States. And my question is for the big three, all of you. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your relationship and maybe some of the important learning points from your most influential teacher or teachers related to trumpet or musicianship in general. And thank you very much.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Who should start?
Yeah, this is my turn. Yeah, I mean, who wants to ask first? It's up to you. I don't, Håkan.
But
The youngest.
how long do we have?
Wow.
You know, I think we collect. Alison was saying, you know, we get all these things, all these gifts from previous generations. We assimilate them, and then and I think the relation between us is obvious. I mean, it's just humble. I feel so humble with these guys, and we keep doing our best, and we remember constantly. You know, like we remember. We laugh with the laughs of our fathers, and we say things like our fathers, and then we add a little, and then I can hear my son laughing, and he laughs a bit like me and like my grandfather, and you know, and it goes on and on like this, and I think that's all organic, and we can talk about details and traditions, and that it's not so long ago. You know, I mean, if we look back at the Paris tradition, Thibaut, Sabarich, Franquin, and then we're already back in, you know, a long time back, we think, but not so long. So I think it's, you know, I'm answering maybe a little bit too philosophically, but the details are too many.
Okay, thank you. Reinhold?
Yeah, it's perhaps the same process how you by yourself find in going step by step, each new day, new month, new year, to go forward to the end of this sausage, because each sausage has the beginning and the end, and we go to the end. Finally, we go straight ahead. And on this way, you look, of course, sometimes forward, and a lot of times you look also backward. Also in music history, what are your roots? And then you see, okay, I learned this from this teacher, and I learned this from this teacher, and now it's combined in my own doing. So the roots are going back to Gottfried Reiche. I drink this evening. I drink my red wine from Fantini, and we know Gerolamo Fantini was in the Renaissance. It was the trumpet player of Frescobaldi. So I discovered, for example, in my old family, which I didn't realize when I was a young man, that I'm not alone. I have here a granduncle. He's in the orchestra there. He is a granduncle. He was in the so-called Entartete Kunst. What is that called? Entartete Kunst. Can you help me? The
Art of the Fugue.
Out of the Fugue.
Yeah, this not accepted by the Nazis, not accepted, politically degenerated art. Yeah, I think it's like something like that. And he was a painter, and he had to fly away and to rescue his life. So step by step, you look forward, backward, and your personality gets more and more aspects inside of you, like the example of Håkan, which was wonderful poetic with the tree, the inside and the outside. And that's makes the life so interesting, and never one day is boring.
Right.
Thank you. Wynton?
No, I agree. We're part of an extended family. It goes back to Gottfried Reich. In America, it's Francis Johnson and Patrick Gilmore, and great trumpet players of the 19th century, Herbert Clark, then Buddy Bolden, Louis Armstrong, that strain of people playing. And then, of course, the modern trumpet players, Adolph Hirscheth, Clifford Brown in that strain. And then up to the tradition we have today, Phil Smith, kind of many of people in the tradition, we know each other, and how the three of us are related is when we come together, you have a lot of the tradition. You know, how many times Gabor and I have sat down and we just talk about lessons and teachers, and we're talking about Doug Schitzer, we're talking about Thibault, and we cover all the same material, the same teachers and material and pieces, and we have a shared heritage. And so far as the most important thing, my father was a teacher for me, and he was a great teacher. He taught through analogy. But the greatest lesson I ever had was from my mother, who was struggling to carry my autistic brother in a parade when I was 11, and I kept asking her to let me carry my brother. So an hour passed, she was still holding him. I was seeing her shift her weight around. I said, let me hold it. And she said, how heavy something is depends on how you feel about carrying it. So I always kept that with me my entire life. So that we can carry a part of the legacy of our instrument, it's a great legacy. And we are all a part of being custodians of it, as is Sergei, as you are. And as anybody on this call, we have teachers, we have students, we have fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers, sisters. As Alison came on and spoke, she's a custodian of our instrument. So we're all a part of one thing. And as we have a love and respect for one another and one another's opinions, we don't have to always have the same opinion, but we all have paid dues to the trumpet and to music, and we all have respect for the dues that each other have paid. So,
thank you, thank you.
You.
Thank you, Jeffrey. We will go to the next question with Zoran Kazakov in Europe, in Switzerland. Zoran, can you hear us?
Yes, hi. Hi for big three, and thank you for all you do it for this more years and inspire me. And I'm originally from Macedonia, but still 25 years I'm living in Switzerland. And thank you for Olivier to organize it, this wonderful emission. And sorry about my English. And my question is for three of you: did you have some dream, some piece recording or chamber music, something doing, some dream you never do it before?
Well, who wants to start? Maybe Wynton?
No, I couldn't understand if he meant that I heard a piece or I wanted to play a piece.
Like pieces of some music you didn't play yet, and you would like maybe to play in the future, some
Oh man, it's
like
so
that.
It's I wish I could say to a piece. No, it's so many for me. I can't pick one. I'm gonna turn it over to my brethren.
Okay. And Håkan and Reinhold, maybe you have something that you would like to play in the future and you never played yet?
Yeah, I'm just on a little project after I throw down to do a recording with French music, but everything is already recorded. So I somehow came to this point to make research about politically persecuted composers and Jewish composers in the time of Nazis, in this time before and of course also time after. And I thought, okay, about some particular pieces. I heard from one composer which was new in the musical world, Hans Winterberg. He was in concentration camp in Theresienstadt, and I listened to a radio emission about him. And the first piece he composed was for trumpet and piano after coming out from the concentration camp. Now I have the manuscript of this piece, and that gave me the idea, wow, that is a field where is for the trumpet world not enough done. Now I have in the last, that was the coronavirus special time, because I have never so many free hours than today in the last 2 months. And I have now material for 6 or 7 CDs. 3 trumpet concerto CDs could have been done. A man like Anne Frank, who was surviving in the canalization of the Amsterdam, and he composed a trumpet concerto, which is extremely beautiful, concert over BACH for trumpet and orchestra, and it's a big long story, but this is a real dream for me to do that in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Thank you.
I would say the first dream is that we soon enough have big symphony orchestras back. I desperately need them, and because also a couple of pieces, I mean, are coming. They're in the pipeline. There will be a concerto by Jörg Wittmann.
Wow.
That I'm looking forward to, and Helen Grime, wonderful British composer. So those are the two very obvious things that I'm looking forward to very much, and it's each new piece like that is of course like a new, like unknown territory to discover.
Yeah.
So sitting here, you know, I love being home. It's wonderful, but I'm longing for those undiscovered territories.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Zoran, for your question. We'll go we will fly to Africa, South Africa, and a question from Sydney, Sibuzizo Mavundla. I hope it's right. Can you hear me, Sydney?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Please, your question.
All right.
What's going on, man?
Thank you. Hey, how are you, man?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Very good to see you. I'm very happy to be on this platform. It's my first time to be here, man. It's a very beautiful platform talking to you guys. I mean, Wynton, I've been following you since, I don't know when, man, starting school, varsity that I'm talking about, college, following you. My mentor was telling me about you. Come listen to this new trumpet player and all that. You know, it's a very beautiful thing to hear. And earlier on, you spoke about the interactions, like in terms of today, people, they listen to the new ways, there's new ways of listening, like the iTunes and all of it. And you guys grew up in the era where you could just go to a club and see Freddie Hubbard, you could see Miles Davis. So things have
Håkan was
changed.
talking about that.
Yeah, that's right. So basically what I'm saying, it was so beautiful to have you with us last year in South Africa, in Johannesburg, seeing you live with your band. We were very inspired. And it brings the question now in terms of to get an institution like that going, like a big band that is like full-time playing music, dedicated to making music, preserving the tradition, how easy it is and how easily can it be achieved if it's easy, and I don't think it's easy. So what is the best way, if there is the best way, to deal with a band on a daily basis or monthly basis?
Well, it's hard to get a institution and a band. You got to look at it like you want to get a community of people around an issue, and that issue is the importance of the meaning of a music. It's what we're all talking about today. Håkan was talking about going out and hearing people, and he talked about the ancestors, and you could touch them, but we still touch each other. Okay, and Alison spoke. I know her. We've seen each other. We talk all the time. I've seen you. We talk with each other. You know, when I saw you on the screen, it made me smile because I thought about the kind of warmth and the vibration we had when we actually met in South Africa. And you have to get your community excited about the music you want them to play. And the community is not just musicians. It's people in the business, there are a lot of people around who want something of meaning, something to do. Sell them on that vision. Just like if you were trying to get, your church or your school is going somewhere else around the world on a trip. Let's say you want them to go to France. You start raising money, you're talking to people, you're asking them, you're selling them. Then the most important thing for musicians is have music that's difficult for them to be challenged by it. Have gigs, no matter if they don't pay anything, have a gig. And then keep your energy moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And then it's gonna be okay.
I get you.
So thank you so much for calling in, man. It's good to see you. I see you got your glasses up on your head. Don't fight with it. Don't fight looking at these little icons. Good luck reading the music. That's the challenge in this time. Can we look at a piece of music and see what's on it?
That's correct.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Greetings from Johannesburg to everyone. Thank you.
Hey, much love to y'all.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, Sydney, for joining us. Do you want to add something, Reinhold and Håkan? It's fine. Let's go to the next question then. Let's fly to Australia now. Melanie Wilkinson. Melanie, can you hear me?
Hello.
Please,
Hey.
the question.
Right now, hey.
Can you hear me?
All right.
Hey, Erica. Hi, Reinhold.
Hey, nice to see you.
Hello, Melly.
I'm in. Sorry, everybody.
Healthy and thirsty.
It's nearly 5:30 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bravo.
Also, hello, Wynton. Oh my gosh, and Håkan. I can't believe I got picked to ask a question. Now I don't know what to ask.
It doesn't matter.
I do know what so what I wanted to ask you guys, I'm in the process of preparing for a recital for my master's degree, and it's a 50-minute recital. I was just wondering if you've got any tips for anybody like me or any other students, how you'd go about constructing a daily routine in preparation, like, you know, the last 3 to 4 weeks leading up to a recital.
Reinhold, you start.
Oh, I struggle because I think it's a very bad idea to of some people to give a trumpet player a recital for 50 minutes playing through, which is effectively nearly impossible. What I do in my school is I always bring 2 people who do an examiner together, that you get a rest, that you play 2 pieces and then you have another one playing 2 pieces. But I cannot infect your school system with this idea. But I do also in international competitions where I'm in the jury. I always recommend, for example, in Maurice André the competition, I asked him, could not play all people play their first piece, Telemann concerto, and then the second piece, to make it more possible not to fail in the second piece so much. But of course, such a program must be done intelligent to be able to play, and you have to know your capacities, and then take a lot of time to prepare it with a lot of slow down activities to not to be too busy to play one piece after the other and you struggle. Play things slowly and do a lot of breathing exercises. Wim Hof can help you, perhaps.
Wim Hof, yeah.
You know Wim Hof?
Yeah,
you know him?
I know.
Go in the ice water.
Yeah, very cold.
Makes you more healthy. And ask your acupuncture man to find the point where the lips are restored the most easiest.
Okay, I will. I'll do that, Reinhold.
Håkan, would you like to say something?
Well, I find that every process preparing is very, very long, but it also, contrary to Reinhold's sausages, it doesn't really have an end. You know, you have to realize that whatever result you are with that day is a step. You know, and maybe to be very far ahead and prepare, and then let it rest for a while, take it up again, and you can work on stamina in the way that stamina is here and there, and you can try to push gently your limit, but gently, and it takes longer time than we think. And also, once you get to another level, all you realize is that it can be even better. So there's this side of accepting, acceptance also I think is very, very important. That this is where I am at now, and here we are. And then maybe in 3 weeks, it's something else, and then in 3 years, it's yet something else. You know, it's a little bit dangerous to say that it's only on that day that I have to peak. You know? But we leave that to the sports people.
Thank you, Wynton. Anything?
I'm gonna go with
Yes.
both my colleagues actually said the similar type of thing from different angles. Håkan seemed like he was saying, you know, this is what you got to do. The only thing I suggest you is play through your recital every day at the end of the day, and don't stop, no matter how. Because the first time I played a recital, I practiced every piece, and I was always stopping it correctly. And the first time I played it all the way through was the night of that recital. That was a huge mistake. So just go through it all, and it'll give you a sense of what you have to do.
Thank you. Thank you, Melanie. Let's go to
Thank
Scotland.
you.
Brian,
Get some sleep. 5:30. Get you some rest.
Yes.
All night up. I'm up all night now.
Oh, have a good day.
Committed.
Now let's go to Scotland. Brian McGinley, can you hear us?
Yeah,
Brian?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good.
Hello, Brian.
Hey.
Nice to see you.
Hi.
Nice to see you, Brian. Hi.
Nice to see you all. Yeah. Well, thank you for Olivier for setting this up, and hello to the three of you. It's fantastic to see you looking so well. I have a very simple question. In this time when there are not so many live performances going on, we can all reflect back on the past, and just instantly, I'd like to know what's the first most memorable performance. It doesn't have to be the ultimate best one, but the first most memorable performance that pops into your head. Simply that.
Thank you. Wynton, maybe. Sorry.
Well, just because my father passed away, and I'm not saying it to be any way about it. I remember when in the 70s, we learned how to circular breathe. So I would circular breathe on every solo, just play without stopping, and people would just start cheering. So I did it 2 or 3 solos. I was getting all the applause. My father motioned me over to the piano, and when I came over and leaned over, he said, "Hey man, the circus is down the street. Play some music." So I remember that.
Håkan?
Well, I had another one in mind, but now that Wynton tells that one, this goes back to when I met you, Reinhold, the first time, and it was in the Munich competition, and I was playing the last movement of the Hindemith Sonata, and I got very emotional. You know, the meaning of this music, and I almost kind of lost it in the emotion of the music. And Thibaut came up to me and he took me like this and he said, "They should cry, not you."
Wow. 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 Wow.
And then I was thinking of one when you first asked, Brian, which was actually then just after that competition, and I was invited to play the first time in Berlin in the Philharmonic Hall, and the Rias stellt vor these concerts and the Haydn, of course, and just the feeling of what a hall does, you know, an orchestra and the acoustic of a hall. And I remember that concert was so decisive for me that, you know, this is what I want to do my whole life. I mean, I remember deciding it there and then, that this is it. This is really what I want to do. So sorry, 2 answers. You can have 3.
Reinhold?
Poof, it's so hard. I mean, in the moment, my little fellows, they spoke about their concerts. I had a lot of different things in my mind, but one rested. I was 70 years old, played Telemann Concerto in Cairo with the German president and what was in this time the Egyptian president, 1 meter in front of me. And just 30 seconds before I had to go on stage, I got bleeding of the nose. So you have the first movement of the Telemann, and you have bam bi da di da bam bi, and I was always trying taking up the blood again in this little rest. And it was a very intense breathing, and that helped me a lot to come to the first movement. It didn't happen again, unfortunately.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian, for your question.
Great to see you, Brian. Really nice to see you.
Yeah.
Time is running, and we will go to the last two questions soon. But before that, I would like to apologize if we could not pick up all the questions, because you were more than 200 to register and more than 100 questions. My wish was to also have one question from each continent, but unfortunately here at home, even if I'm helped with three great persons, we don't. It's very hard to read the Japanese names on the list of participants. So I apologize. It's very hard to find who is who. I don't read Japanese, for example. And we know there are also people from South America, Central America. So I just want to say I'm sorry if it's not possible to have everyone. So now we will go to two more questions. We go back to USA, and we have Matt and Yena Bangiel. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, we're both trumpet players, and you three have been huge inspirations for us our whole lives, and we're so grateful that we get to be here, and thank you for taking the time to do this. One of our questions is basically, do you have, I know the last one was about performances, do you have performances outside of the concert hall, or some musical experience that you had that was not in a traditional setting that was very meaningful to you?
Reinhold, you can start.
Yeah, once I was in Mongolia, in the end of the valley where the world looked like there's the end of the world, and there was a Buddhistic temple, and the Buddhistic temple had one monk, and I played with a huge group of people from the United States, modern music, ethnic music, totally mix. And I was walking up the hill for 1 hour, and I was several hundred meters higher than this temple. And then I thought, okay, now I start, nobody will hear me. But when I later came down, they said it was terrible. It was so loud because of the acoustics. And I think I played some Giacinto Chelsea solo piece, the John Cage of Italy. It was amazing because the acoustic, for me, it was normal playing, and down in the valley, it was extremely loud. So that was my outside crazy experience. Who is next?
Who is next? Wynton. Sorry.
And I played in so many crazy places. I guess I was playing a parade in New Orleans, and there's a guy I was playing with, a trumpet player named Cyril, and all through the parade, because your chops get tired, so you're trying to figure out how can I stop playing. He would say, they don't do this in New York, they don't do this in California, they don't do this in Pennsylvania. He was saying all the places they don't do this type of parade. And then this was in the 70s. Every time you have a parade, there would be some type of shooting would take place, and people just run all over the place. So Cyril was a little overweight. So all of a sudden, some shooting started, pop, 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 pop. So of course, he and I started just running down the street. So as we were running down the street, he looked at me, and he was trying to keep all his clothes and his horn together, and he said, they don't do this in Los Angeles. So, I have like crazy instances of stuff like that.
Håkan.
Well, I came to think about one. I actually didn't play a note, but it had to do with what I see here tonight, because I look at Wynton's lip and it looks kind of like mine, you know, with long.
Right.
and we were on travels in India, and there was this incredible temple in Jaipur, and at the guard tower up there was a musician playing some really weird brass instruments, and I explained to the guy that I was a musician and we were allowed to go up, and this was all very ceremonial. And of course, this man and I, we had no other common point of reference. He didn't speak any language that I spoke. I could have, I could have named some footballer or even, I don't know, something from my world, but he wouldn't have. There was absolutely no point of common reference. But he looked at my lip and pointed. and he handed me this really weird looking, probably about 600-year-old thing that he would play every hour. And I looked at it and I said, no, thank you.
You should have played it, man.
I think you would have cut my lip completely.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Jena. Well, great to see you both. We go to the last question, and we go now to someone who knows how to ask questions. Sarah, can you hear us?
Hi. I can. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm an imposter. I'm a gate crasher. I hope horn players are allowed. We all play horn, right, Wynton? We all play the horn.
Who let these horn players in here? Yeah.
It's great. Olivier, thank you so much. This is just so incredible, even for a non-trumpet player. And it's lovely to see Ali and Sergei and Matthias and all of you. And I wanted to say how much I admire and adore you three. Really, you're such great friends, and you do amazing things for the music world. But I'm honored that I'm allowed to ask a question as well. My horn was blessed by Wynton, having done the horn challenge, but unfortunately Håkan and Reinhold, they were too chicken, so they made me do my own horn challenge. Håkan? This is for you.
Yeah. Have you been practicing?
Then...
Have you been practicing, Sarah?
No, not at all. I'm lucky if I practice the horn these days. But my question for you three, before I get online and donate, which I hope everybody has done, right? Everybody's watching this has done, right, Olivier? Because that's what we're...
Thank you, sorry. Yeah, thank you for your support. Nice you...
My question, I can see Reinhold getting really nervous down there, is if you didn't play the trumpet, which instrument would you play? Would you like to play?
Are we supposed to say the horn, all of us?
No, you didn't. You didn't even play mine. Only Wynton dared to.
So who wants to start? Reinhold.
I was always very jealous when I listened to my son playing the cello. And I thought, wow, it's such a nice instrument. And then now my son, the other son, is the trombone player. And I thought, oh, it's more the male voice. It's not the female voice. It's the male voice, the trombone. And sometimes I get really jealous about when I hear him playing. I love this instrument, and then I would come back on earth again, and I would start to think about how can you play second Brandenburg, and I would do the same shit again.
And Håkan?
Well, it's like this. You know, there's this party trick where you have to name your favorite animal, and then you have to say your second favorite animal. And when you the one you name as your favorite is what you want to be seen as, and then the second one is what you really are. And I remember when I was answering those questions, I said for the first, my favorite animal is a tiger, you know, and then my second name. My second animal was a dog. But then I think it's the same with this. You know, I would say the first animal is probably the violin with all its endless possibilities of colors and phrasing possibilities, and so that would be my tiger. But then I also remember when I was 8 and I was given a trumpet, I had kind of the same questions. What would you have liked if it wasn't a trumpet? And then I said, a banjo. So that's my dog.
I love that.
And you, Wynton?
I would just piano and drums.
Piano and drums.
Piano, drums, kind of. I look at them the same in a way.
Mm-hmm. Nice, nice. Thank you, Sarah. It was amazing to see you.
A pleasure to be allowed to gate crash, and bravo for this fantastic talk. It's lovely to see you guys.
Great surprise.
Great to
Thank
see
you,
Sarah.
Thank you very much.
I'm going back on mute.
Okay. So, my dear, it was really a pleasure to have you all together. It was more than a dream. If you allow myself to ask a question, because I got this question a lot. We had the 3 tenors before, and now we have the big 3. Would you consider one day to record something together?
Yeah.
No problem.
Yes? Okay.
Of
But
course.
I'm going to hold y'all to it. Don't say yes. We're not going to get a phone call.
You organize it, Olivier. You just go and organize it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I want to thank you very, very much deeply. All 3. You have accepted to do that so quickly, and no question. It was like, yeah, well, let's do it. And it was so easy to find a date. Just one date was. But so it was amazing to organize that. I want to thank you also, all the people behind you, Edith, Luigi, Suzanne, and Enrico. Thank you for helping the contacts. And of course, thank you for all participants on Zoom, all the followers on Facebook Live. Thank you for your donation already done and for the coming soon. And I want to thank you also my team here at home. I had Judith, Milena, and my wife Anouk. So I'm grateful she could help me, because otherwise alone it would be a nightmare. I think the live went on. We were also all on Zoom with recording. So I hope that everything is safe for our YouTube archives. And Reinhold, I think you're ready for the toast, right?
I have here 5 glasses. I have for everybody of you. I have a glass. So cheers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have some champagne.
Thank you. And I wish you, of course, all the best. Take care and hope to see you soon.
Much love to all my colleagues. Thank y'all so much. Y'all lifted me up. It's a great day. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Olivier.
It was phenomenal.
Really wonderful, and slightly sad that I can't see you for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do it next time.
Yeah. Next
Okay.
time.
For the
Love to
recording.
y'all.
For the recording.
Mwah.
Right.
Håkan,
Bye-bye.
thank you so much.
Bye-bye. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you all.
We are still here.
Yes. I want to enjoy your wine.
Heidi.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.